So we'll begin the function. So in the meanwhile, just a little bit more time and patience, because once we start, the thing is going to be exciting for the days. Definitely the future course for the energy sector that we are going to discuss today, and also the smart grid approach, because the word smart grid is used a lot, but the grid has to be made smart. Because we have done a lot of work in the generation side, but we are all failing in the distribution. Actually, the tail end of the situation is the front end of the situation. Generation was not going to be a problem, because last month onwards we have been discussing that we have a capacity of T60 to 268 gigawatt right now, but our offtakes is only in the region of 150 to 155 gigawatt. And this, I have cross-checked the information, and a plethora of problems have been discovered, and which was discussed also. Some of the people in the forum already know that subject, what's happening, including the grid code, the problem of the grid code, how the DISCOMs cannot purchase at a higher price at a lower frequency. So those issues have come in. So cart before the horse situation is there. And then we probably are denying access to many citizens of India, the electricity. So we are in a very peculiar crisis-ridden situation, of course, created by a lot of conditions, not one, market conditions, approach to electricity, not understanding the affordable nature of power. Because see, we are a welfare state. At the end of the day, we cannot sell power at 25 rupees a unit. We have to find a way to come to a median, how we account for and give. Like I have my friends from the Himachal, and the wisdom that I got from them is the hydropower is cheapest power. Obviously, we have discussed this in many areas today, in the past as well. And I agree with them, because certain power which comes extremely at a low price, like Bakra has been producing power at 38 paisa per unit. Narmada has been giving power at 57 paisa per unit. This has been addressed in this forum in the past. And I think Himachal also is competitive. What would be the price average price, cost of production, I'm not saying selling price, would be in the same range, because they gave me these figures. Bakra gave me the figure of 38 paisa per unit, Agarwal Saab. And then Narmada we have discussed 2 or 3 times in Gujarat, 57 paisa per unit, that's the production cost. अच्छा नहीं, वो तो ठीक है, वो इन्वेस्टमेंट है, मैं कह रहा हूँ टैरिफ जो है, बिकॉज यू डोंट हैव अ फ्यूल ना. बिल्कुल बिल्कुल माथुर साहब ने सही कहा. तो बेसिकली that's the point. The point is when we have, and then the hydro resource has depleted, when we are coming to this forum, the hydro resource is depleted at a generation end. तो भी सस्ता है, मैं कह रहा हूँ भूटान से we are buying at 1 rupee 98 paisa. We are importing power from Bhutan right now, 1400 megawatt, and I have been to Mangdechu. In fact, me and the new project that's coming, and when I talked to the minister there, Leonpo Norbu Wangchuk, he was very clear. I said, sir, what is your wish list? He said, Professor, if you can convey to your government that all the 30 gigawatt be bought, because you are not able to develop it in your country, but we'll do everything possible to send this power to you. So I found it very interesting, in the Energy Alliance, while we, so that could be the way out also. 30 gigawatt is quite a big thing. But then all of this, when you bring such electricity, you will need a smarter grid. Today's day, we have a lot of smart grid stalwarts out here. I have Alfred Manor on the left from Enzen, who done extraordinary work in the southern region, and Mysore, if I'm not mistaken. They are leaders in that area. So probably we have not discovered these companies. In these forums, we did not have such organizations, I must tell you. So this is probably the first time we have got N. Murugeshan, who has headed everything, including the smart grid standards of the country. Murugeshan Saab as DG CPRI has brought a lot of transformation. And I think, sir, we have a smart grid standard in the country at least. Basic standard is done. Right. But we are moving towards a proper smart grid standard for the country. We have Mr. Kaushik, who has worked with Sian, one of the metering technology leaders from UK, and he's also amongst us. So I called this, to find what is the problem in the distribution sector. Arora Saab, welcome. So, आइए सर, आगे आइए, इधर भी आ जाइए for the time being. हम शुरू करेंगे. We are waiting for Kapoor Saab. So I have my regular friends also. T.C. Arora has spent his life in Toshiba. He is still the advisor to Toshiba. He has also done a lot of work. Then we have on the right V.K. Garg. V.K. Garg was former chairman Power Finance Corporation. Plus he was a regulator. He was the chairman of the Joint Electric Regulatory Commission for Goa and the rest of the Union territories. And he's done fantastic work in his times. In fact, PFC as an organization was born in the times of such people, and we know the apex power financing body in the country is Power Finance Corporation. Also, he has a background to the oil and gas sector in the past, and he knows quite a bit about how that energy train is moving in the world. Then if I look at my own friend, Mr. PVS and Murthy, where is Mr. Murthy? Can't see. Yeah, oh here, okay. Murthy Saab, he served Voith, Hydro, then before that he was in Alstom, so transmission, distribution, as well as you see him in the hydro sector as well. You know. So a lot of stalwarts, PK Agarwal, BHL, he has seen the ups and downs of BHL. Of course, when he was there, it was up. Totally, I cannot say it was down, but right now we are seeing BHL facing some crisis of both management as well as results, you know. And they are stalwarts, they know what is the way to keep it up, you know. And we have Bambani Saab, another ex-BHL man. I have SK Shukla from Tehri, sir. Haath upar kariye, sir. Tehri bani inke karan. Delhi bach gayi Tehri ke karan. Because last time jab wo pura ufan aaya tha, I think we were under duress. Everybody was writing different. ENERTIA wrote an article that Delhi was saved because of Tehri. We are not understanding this whole principle of why these projects are important. So we are very good. हाँ जी. बिल्कुल सही है. Right sir, right, I agree. नहीं वो हमें चेंज करना पड़ेगा सर, परसेप्शन. आप सही कह रहे हैं. और अश्विनीधर, stalwart in his own right, sir, हाथ थोड़ा सा ऊपर, but when he stands, he doesn't need any recognition. Stands tall, you know. And Ashwini is a wonderful man who did the image building of BHL, and he has ensured that in his past that how BHL gained its reputation as one of the finest manufacturers in Asia and came up. He spent time also in marketing while he did a lot of communication for BHL. He's a hardcore media man. He knows how media works and how it does not work also, right? So, you know, I see those faces. Then I have a very young man, I want to recognize him, you know, Abhishek over there. Abhishek, can I get your hand? He studied at PDPU. He came to all my programs, and I love this young man. And I hope this young man does some transformation for us. He's working in the MNRE for UNDP projects right now. And I see young people like him making the future of India. We are always there to, you know, see these young people also coming up. So my duty is also to bring the young people in. I have my very good friend, I must say, Hemendra Garg out there. And I'm very thankful to him from Doordarshan. See, they have been kind enough to come all this way. Yesterday we had a very big talk, and I was of the opinion that there is a big role for Doordarshan. You'll agree, sir? Mass media is happy with Maggie. Mass media. Oh, this was happening for years together, but wohi chahiye. That is the discussion in the evening. And the other thing is, we are all happy with the principles of Namo Lamo we are discussing. I don't know for what. You know, that man, one man is holding the country to ransom. For the last, I think, for the last 2 weeks or 3 weeks, we only discussed this. As if the nation has nothing else. You know, while I say, okay, these issues the corruption issues will be discussed, but I don't know the way it has been blown off, that as if nothing else. And I think everything else in the development is being neglected, where you must have a debate, where you can constructively go forward and criticize the government where they are not doing the job. वहाँ नहीं करके हम कौन सी चीज़ पे criticize कर रहे हैं? इस पे लगे cricket पे. This has destroyed the country. So I hope that such forums change that opinion and move towards discussion and debate on electricity, infrastructure. These are the key issues for the country. So I have a lot of friends here, and we have 10 states who are going to be rewarded today under the REPA State Awards. And it is both an honor to be able to evaluate, because we have done the ENERTIA Awards. I started this in 2007. Hetal, my very good friend, we are both alumnus of NITs. Now they were called RECs in our time. I studied from mechanical engineering from Kurukshetra. He studied as mechanical from Surat. But our alumnus have been also backing us, because every state has an REC. So I'm very happy that we have IITs, but the RECs also done excellent work. So if these institutions come together, I mean to say IITs and RECs, which are today the NITs, I tell you half of the problem of engineering and going forward in the economy will be sorted out. You know, so the whole thing is we have to bring this principle of working with the hand. I went to after 50 years, I was called for a lecture, and the only problem I had that people are not allowed to go to the labs. Young kids are not, hydraulic labs, they have only seen And they have not done. Sir, one day we do the equipment, instrumentation test and all these things. Only one day, sir, in the year. That is so horrific. I had to explain to the institute director that you can't do this. In my time, when I entered REC Kurukshetra, almost the first day, or the second day, let us say, we were sent with these barchas, in north, for cutting grass. We were sent to cut grass. That was the reality. And we were all shocked why we were cutting grass. Many people did not understand. But I said something will be there. Some of us became positive. We all went and cut grass. Somehow we cut grass in some way. Then the fellow who came was leading us at the time. He said, it is the way to cut the grass. It is the blade angle. Everything was explained to us, sir. So I think people have to respect labor. Shram ke liye, we need to get working with the hand. We should get the pride of working with our hand and working with. So engineers can't just sit in air-conditioned cabin and get results. You must be at a dam side. Me and Hetal, very interesting story. We went to Mangdechu. Their chief engineer, this is almost you have to travel from the main Thimphu city, 10 hours on the road. And that road is the horrible road, You, Madhu Sahab understands what I mean. And when you go there, once you reach the site also, barely you get a guest house of a thing. Okay, khana wana bhi nahi milega aapko, jo aapko sochna hai. We went there. And when we went into the site, the chief engineer said, Iyer Sahab, I look a little portly, So he said, Iyer Sahab, aaj aapko chalayega. I said, okay, we'll do that. In typical Bhutanese style, me and Hetal were together. He was very confident that Hetal will walk. But he was not sure about me walking. But believe me, my friends, 3 hours of walk. After that, he was tired in the dam site. Because then I told him that I played football and I played Santosh Trophy. So I had a background of sports. So I could be looking like this, but quite energetic. So he was very happy. He said, sir, people don't agree. People want to keep the jeep in the car. We went through muddy stuff and we went through the whole thing, right? To right now we are producing the story on the Mangdechu because we want to bring some pitch, whether even if it's a Bhutanese project, it's a very well executed 6.5 crores per megawatt project, and it is a very difficult terrain where this is being executed in Bhutan. So that story itself will tell us how we can do. Of course, they had also problem, not of displacement. There was one bird that they saved in Puna Sanchu. That red harrier they saved. That bird is such that if you make noise in construction, that bird will be so terrified that it will die. So what they did, they wanted to breed this bird in captivity under the Bhutan Natural History Society. They said we have to bird. So they spent 20 lakhs for breeding one egg, believe me. And one day people came, I don't want to name the person, he said, they want to criticize कि हमने 20 लाख रुपए खर्च कर दिए. मैंने कहा आपको 2 करोड़ खर्च करने चाहिए थे. Because if you look at the cost of the project, this 2 crores is also nothing. But the bird bred in captivity, it produced the next offspring, sab hua. So environmentalists went back on that project because they understood that the project was supporting. We have to do something like this. We cannot, of course, we have to be careful about blackmailers, as Mathur Sahab will know, but I think ऐसे काम तो करने चाहिए. जिससे मैंने कहा इसकी आप publicity क्यों नहीं कर रहे? You saved the bird. Now they are thinking. And all the Rotarians came together, right, sir? Rotary Club of Thimphu in Bhutan came together and said, this is a good idea. And all of them are coming. So may I now not waste time and call Santosh, please come on the dais, sir, first. Please give him a big hand. Santosh Goenka, former executive publisher of the Indian Express Group. May I have V.K. Garg, former chairperson, PFC, and also former regulator, JERC, sir. Please come over, sir. Please give a big hand, energy in the clapping. May I request N. Murugeshan, former DG, CPRI, a man to whom we are indebted for what we did in the grid, that we achieved 1200 kV because of institutional leadership like his. Please give him a big hand. And also the smart grid access in the country. Then, who's there then? I can't see. May I request T.C. Arora, my good friend, to please come over on the dais today. T.C. Arora, when I started publishing, Arora Sahab and Murthy Sahab were together always from the beginning. May I request Ashwini Dhar, my very good friend, sitting silently behind, please come over. former GM of BHL and a person who saw, I told you, the whole way the media behaved and what it did. Popli sir, please welcome sir. Please give him a big hand. Managing Director, Chairman and Managing Director, IREDA. Please come over sir on the dais. We have J.K. Mehta, my very old friend from NTPC and now running the South Asian Forum of Energy Efficiency. Please come sir. Big hand for him please. I would also request my colleague and Joint President of REPA to please come over on the dais, Shri Hetal Mehta, please. Thanks to Hetal's support all this while, we founded this organization, and Hetal has been seeing its growth from the beginning when we started even publishing. So please give him a big hand. Joint Secretary Solar who has arrived. Please give him a big hand. Aaiye Kapoor Saab. Thank you Kapoor Saab for being with us. And always an encouragement for us to have him. Good, so we have these stalwarts today to help us out. As they continue, see today, as I told you, we have 260 gigawatt, but we are only taking away 150 gigawatt. Problems are in plethora, that why we are not able to take that 110 gigawatt. It relates to what we've done with the grid code. It also relates to the idea that this country is going to see affordable power coming in. So the idea of affordable power has to be understood. Welfare state, I told you, we are still a welfare state. We cannot be looking like Europe. We cannot be looking like America. We need to have our own solutions. We need to find a median. And there are some extraordinary solutions that can come in. One extraordinary solution is most of our thermal power plants have depleted, and depreciated, sorry, not depleted but depreciated. Depreciated assets generally produce low-cost power because the variable tariff of coal is very low. But what we are doing, we don't have an accounting system of sending power from these depreciated stations to the needy. So what we end up doing, we assimilate all of this as a common factor in the grid. And therein comes some new solution to metering which I discussed. That metering which can detect renewable energy. So you need to have transforming technology which has not happened today. So renewables will come at a certain price in the initial stages, and I'll give you some good news on solar. In Gujarat, in Gandhinagar IIT, when we had a program 2011, I believe, that I said that it will be 5 rupees tariff in 2015-16. It came. And everybody opposed me. Only one man did not oppose me, that was Maheshwar Sahu, that time the principal secretary in Gujarat. He said, Professor is right, it will happen. And that triggered off the whole movement in Gujarat, you know, all these power plants came and the 214 megawatt solar park was built and all that happened. That was the rest was history. But of course good tariff was given, 15 rupees were given approximately, and now it's 10 rupees roughly. So those who came early birds, they are earning good money, those who put up the power plant there. But now we know in the reverse bidding we have come to roughly about 6 rupees, anywhere between 5 to 6 rupees we are floating. But I tell you what has happened in Middle East, especially this Abu Dhabi group, you know, the family, they have got a tariff of 3 rupees 50 paisa. And the result is amazing. The interesting part of that is that they have not bought the land bank. In this country, we are always calculating purchase of land bank and adding that to the cost of the power tariff. And this makes the capex and everything go awry. So I think, you know, the solar has to look in a different way, because in this project, the land is not under purchase, land is under lease. Land is actually under lease. Land is basically under lease. So when you have a land under lease or long-term lease, which can happen in states like Rajasthan and other states, the tariff will automatically come down. You have a 25 year, because in Bombay and all, there are buildings in 99 years lease. There are hotels like Trident and Taj who have got land in 99 years lease. So I don't know whether we are even looking at this solution. We are trying to purchase land. It is not required, you know. You can hold the land on lease and you can work an effective formula to bring the cost down. So most difficult part for 100 gigawatt solar pitch will be land bank. I wrote to the PM personally saying that the biggest first thing is, if we don't acquire land, we are not going to achieve the green energy certification, because then all this will remain on paper. And land acquisition is difficult. What is the second route? Second route obviously is rooftop. But that is a very important route. We don't have a rooftop policy properly across the state. So I hope after seeing Haryana and now Punjab also, I think, is coming across with some policy. So I think when some leadership is shown on this rooftop, because rooftop seems small, We have assessed at REPA that Mumbai's rooftops can provide 3,000 megawatt. This is massive. And the same way Delhi is 2,500 megawatt. So solar without acquisition of land bank, if we can do something, then that is great. So I have just thrown a few, balls in front of you that there are few solutions, like looking at green energy in a different way. We are talking of corridors, but you cannot keep too much redundancy in the grid. You'll have to find a ways and means of achieving certain direction. So I mean, we have to find ways and means and approaches which are innovative. And it is all lying here only. We don't have to go out of the world. And I don't think we should imitate the West at all. And I've been talking in this forum quite a few times, and I want to send this message to the policy makers as well. And I'm also telling you that there is enough money available within India. See, with Greece going down, I can assure you that Merkel in her third pitch will end up funding Greece. The moment she does it, I tell you, Europe's story is already down. And it will happen because they will save European Union at any cost. And this is absolutely a political decision. It will not be a logical decision. And when they do it, we are already meeting a lot of people. While they go and talk and tell our government a lot of things, inside scene is Indian condition is not good for investment. I asked them why it is not good for investment. They have no answer. Most of these, our friends from Europe and UK, then I said, then why do you come to our programs? Why do you flock? They said, sir, we have to come, we have to see. So they are all toe searchers. Swimming pool is there. They are standing outside and putting their toe inside, and they are not jumping into the water. So either we push them into the water, which is not possible. We are not at a stage where we can push this Europe into the water. So what we have to do, we have to find ways and means of getting finance from within the economy. A good information I'll give you. Between 2012 and 2015, India received $105 billion of foreign direct investment. And in that very period, Indians invested $212 billion of foreign direct investment. So what is the game? In this debit and credit account, we are losing. The FDI pitch is a question mark, because whether we are really going to get this, are they interested? They are going to save themselves. And they are looking at the Indian poor man's money. Somebody earning 20,000, 30,000 rupees in our country, they want to tell, oh, you come and educate yourself here in my university. Can you afford Harvard and Stanford? And they are very happy. They will say, okay, export him up there. Then we'll make a good brain out of him. And then somebody will come with a degree, and I know more. I don't know on what grounds. They have no experience of the Indian market. And I told the famous Philip Kotler several years back, how can you superimpose a marketing law into India? Resulted in my book, India Brandist. Because he said, nations become brands. 2 articles in Harvard Business Review. I said, sir, you are we lived with the name Philip Kotler when we studied marketing management. It was like, you're the god, icon, right? But he himself said, professor, things have changed. And I cannot stand by what I wrote 30 years back. So if they say this, then we need to rethink what we have to do with ourselves. Why are we doing this? I have nothing against them, but they cannot implement their plan. Another friend of mine in America wrote a beautiful book called Hyper Competition, Richard Daveney. People go through trade theories. So they go back to Adam Smith. My love is with Ricardo. I live in a Ricardian principle because there is no competitive advantage. Michael Porter led us the wrong way. He drove the car, his car was in imbalance, and he ran into some other stuff. Actually, it is Porterian economics is a failure, in my opinion. All this theory of nations and all have gone to dogs. In some other lecture, I'll tell you how it is failing. It has no, uske pair nahi hai. Bina pair ke cheez hai wo. The one that is working is basically the comparative advantage. You have to do better than the other. You have to better. You can only better. Like Santosh always say, we cannot have a best India, we can have a better India. Right? If you have a better India, then you will better what you are doing today. You have a chance to go forward. Like the Sergey Bubka jump, where in the pole vaulting, you have to actually beat yourself, not your competition. So those kind of issues come into picture. So we have no role model outside. And sooner our young people understand that they have a mind, and they have a capability, and we all have a capability, and we have enough money in this country, my friends. I am telling you, the parallel economy is 3 times bigger than the conventional economy, and we need to find the ways and means of getting this internal parallel economy out, so that it comes to taxation, it comes to revenue modeling, and that itself will fund. If our businesses find attractive other destinations, can you believe 10% of India's businesses who invested in the 220 billion have invested in farm sector. They bought lands for farming abroad. Why they are not doing in India? These issues are very serious issues, my friends. So we are sitting at a time when we need to address all this and make our country successful, you know. If we make, I'm saying let the Goras come and work here, we'll be very happy. Give them employment here. उनको employ करिए, उनको इधर लाइए, इस देश में उनको attract करिए, उनको बोलिए हमारी यूनिवर्सिटी में पढ़ें. Let us make them study in IITs, and because now I saw a report by Times of India and Economic Times, and I think that was repeated in other papers also, Business Line also. Top 10 universities of the world, no Indian university. Top engineering colleges of the world, 25, no name from India. It looks like a mafia to me. You know why? Because each one of our fellows go from here, serve the NASAs, serve everything else. So there is some kind of a model to put us down. Then they say, okay, the Chinese are doing well. I understood, no doubt their infrastructure of universities is better, their stuff is better, but I do not know whether their teaching is still the best. You know, we have tested that. They have only one good thing is there. They are very strong in making infrastructure, and we have to salute them for that. They are masters of infrastructure in the world. Nobody can develop infrastructure the way they are doing today. If you buy bullet trains from them, it is good. But for God's sake, we should not buy a turbine from them and a boiler from them. You talk ultra mega, it will be, I tell you, you are finished. It is like killing yourself. It's like taking drug, you know, and drugging yourself. You know, this thing will never work because it is no supercritical stuff. It is still the subcritical stuff that is coming in. Same way solar. I can assure you that most of those panels which have come from China in the past have not shown efficiency beyond 12%, 11%. People are throwing that out in the solar park and putting, because still the tariff is good. So people change 20% of that and bring results. So our Gujarat experience itself should teach us not to put this China imported stuff, you know. Import from anywhere on the planet, even Taiwan, Singapore. But kindly, for God's sake, do not import from China unless you have serious access to the manufacturer. You know, if you have a quality control system, you can put a quality manager permanently in their workshop and he ensure that he is not purchased by them. Right? These two things you have to ensure that he doesn't become corrupt. He or she doesn't go there and become part of them. If you can ensure this, then probably you can import that stuff with a rider that I have to still keep watching the quality control at my end. If you cannot do this, importing from China is sure death. It will not perform. The thing will not last for 25 years. So these are issues. So we brought the DCR and all, you know, our IREDA and MNRE were involved, all this we tried. But what is happening to Indian manufacturers? Most of them have shut shop. They also create pressure for our MNRE and this, because when they want to expand, manufacturing capacity is not available within the country. That is the other problem. So these are the issues that need to be tackled quickly on war footing, because that coal will not be taken out, I can assure you. That whatever the people have put the money on the coal, and they have said, those guys are not going to. See, you need technology for taking out our coal now. I was at Krishna Shila mines in 2009, again in 2011, one of the latest mining facilities of the Northern Coalfields Limited. I saw drag lines operating. These are advanced equipment. What is a drag line? Normally you do open cast mining. Now we cannot do, we have to go deeper. The overburden that we have to remove is much larger. So though that mining is not possible in the way, and when you mine deeper, you use a lot of energy, a lot of resources, and the cost of doing this will be very high. So coal-based power is going to face serious trouble, and then the cost of the coal asset is never going to come down. It's only going to go up. I can assure you, already now, if you build a power plant today, you need about 7 crores per megawatt even for thermal. Whatever said and done, if you put all the pollution control equipment, ash handling system, you need to put all this. Without environmental systems, this coal is a disaster. If you put all that, you are talking 7 crores per megawatt. And the fuel running costs, if you calculate, you will not end up less than 3 rupees for the variable cost of the power. So you are ending up 6 to 7 rupees tariff already. And if this is today's time, I can assure you that when you go forward, you are looking at higher tariffs from the power plant itself, add transmission charge to that, go forward and see what the DISCOMs do. You're not giving power less than 15 to 20 rupees. So diesel power may compete with coal-based power. That kind of situation will come to. So all of this we need to, so solar is going to be cheaper. So my hydro friends always are a little bit unhappy because when I tell them about solar, because my favorite is hydro, but I want to tell them that hydro and solar will work together, don't worry. Let us not get into a finicky situation ki bhai we are going after the solar. But solar has other problems. All my smart grid people are here, and I was very happy. Nobody discussed with Mr. Alfred and Murugeshanji. I discussed harmonics. Harmonics is going to be the real problem. How will you multiple injection points and all these issues? So today we'll discuss with the experts how we are. Solution is there, but you need really a smart grid and smart access, smart technology for that. So you need to go. It's not that you can't operate, but you have a problem at hand. When you bring 100 gigawatt, you will have a problem at hand, because this has to come through rooftops, plus this has to come. So you cannot say, deny, that there is no problem in handling. Handling harmonics, electronic pollution is the biggest problem of the grid. It will not function, I am telling you, if you do not handle it on war footing. It should be yesterday, sir, if I am right. The implementation should have been yesterday, and we are here. So I want Tarun Kapoorji, our very special guest for the day, and he has come to encourage all of us here to say a few words and address this audience, please. Please give him a big hand.
Professor Iyer, dignitaries on the dais, and participants in today's meeting. First of all, let me congratulate the states and the organizations who have got awards today. And I must also appreciate the efforts being done by Dr. Iyer and his team in promotion of renewable energy and in recognizing good work which is being done in the country. He is also a very vocal and a very good spokesman for this sector, because he keeps writing and he keeps talking about the sector and keeps encouraging, so that's a good thing. While in Government of India, we've been trying to promote renewable energy in a big way, but the real action happens only in the states. The implementation is only in the states. And what I've seen in the last 4 years that I've been here in this ministry is that the states are taking a lot of interest. There has been a bit of a transition from certain forms of energy to some forms like maybe even solar, which are becoming more affordable, and states have adapted to that very well. So while earlier it was just these renewable energy agencies in the states which were working for renewable energy, now the distribution companies and the transmission companies, other utilities are also into this, because without that, the kind of targets which we have set for ourselves and the growth in the grid connected power may not be possible. India is moving from the fossil energy age to the renewable energy age. And this transition may take maybe 10 years or 15 years, but after 15 years, I can assure that the renewable energy would form the larger portion of the energy supply in the country. And this is not only a necessity, but this is probably going to be the economic necessity also for the country, because as the price of renewable energy falls and as we realize that it's much better to produce what we have in the country rather than keep importing, we will do more and more of renewable energy, and it will happen on its own, even without Government of India trying to push it. Because it is for the people to realize, the users, the consumers to realize that renewable energy is the cheaper form, stable, sustainable. It is for the DISCOMs to realize, which is gradually happening, and it is for the state governments to realize. From Government of India, now the target of 1,75,000 megawatts is very clear. It's announced, and it is a target on which we are all working. And we have also distributed this target among states, so states also know what they have to do. Now, in order to achieve this target, the regulators have to come forward and they have to declare renewable purchase obligation which matches this target. The distribution companies and the states have to prepare their own plans which matches and is available to fulfill that target. And then the action from the states and the DISCOMs and the GENCOs and also private sector companies has to be there to match this target. From Government of India, some capacities will be supported, but most of the capacities in any case have to come up with the efforts of the state government. So I think it is very good to encourage state governments who have done well, or organizations in the states who have done well. We have a very good mix here today, because there are states who have done well in hydro, states who have done well in biomass, states who have done well in wind, some states are coming up very well in solar. I would particularly like to mention that some states where it is so difficult, for example, Punjab doing solar, one can't even imagine. If Punjab can find land, then any other state can, because earlier some states used to come and tell us that we can't find land, there is no land. So now we give the example of Punjab. If Punjab can find land, why can't any other state can find land? Because land probably is most expensive. Agricultural land is most expensive in Punjab. No other state has land which is costlier than that. And then southern states doing hydro, then for example MP doing wind. So these are things which are quite encouraging, things which are where one would feel that it may be difficult to work. And then Telangana has announced a very good solar policy recently. Andhra has come up with a very encouraging and very good policy for solar. They are allowing third-party sale, no cross-subsidy charge, and even the fixed charge for industrial consumers, they are cutting down if they are going in for renewable. So there are some very good examples which one can talk about in the country, and other states can probably also learn. There are some good examples in one state, some good examples in another state, maybe some cross-learning. If that takes place, then I think everyone can do very well. Because this target which we have set for ourselves, this requires about 19 to 20% energy in the grid from renewables, minus large hydro, which is not an impossible thing, which is not a very, I wouldn't say a very difficult thing, but it needs some efforts. And those efforts have to come from all the stakeholders. So once again, I congratulate all the award winners and also thank INERTIA for organizing this and inviting me here. Thank you.
May I now request K.S. Popley, Chairman Managing Director of IREDA, to say a few words, sir, on the occasion, sir.
Good morning, Mr. Iyer, Mr. Tarun Kapoor, Joint Secretary, MNRE, Dr. Garg, other distinguished dignitaries on the dais, off the dais, dear friends. Well, I am very happy that states are being recognized more and more. More of such awards are being given, and this is a good encouragement, because the whole activity will lie in states, because earlier there was a reluctance on part of states to buy costlier power, but as the cost of solar power is coming down, and states have also accepted wind power in a particular way, but the growth in wind has not happened the way it should have happened. The addition is only 2,000 to 3,000 megawatt every year. I think something will need to be done on that. But for solar, sir, I am very happy that both in the grid connected and off grid things are moving. From the point of view of finance, we have come out with a scheme to lend at 9.9 to 10.75% for rooftop solar, for industrial, commercial and institutional rooftops. So I would request states, developers to come to us and avail this opportunity. And I'm sure the banks would also lend at similar rate for rooftop and small solar projects, because now renewable has been put under priority sector lending, and loans up to 15 crores will fall under priority sector, so they will get a preferential rate of interest for these projects. Similarly, recent order on RPO and RPO obligation by Supreme Court and Appellate Tribunal, I'm sure states would be now, SERCs would be obligated to honor the renewable purchase obligations, and people will find it less